Good morning and welcome to Authentic Conversations Emoji. How are you? Hope you are well. Well, just bear with me for a moment while I ping in people, invite people to join the conversation for me. If you're up there, say hello. This is Mojisola Wilson, and it's Authentic Conversations where we try to transform lives. Notice I said try, right? So while we're getting the show ready, I'm just about to share it to my public page. Yeah. I mean, to my personal page. So my friends there can come join us. And if you have friends that you like to hear this, partake in this conversation, please do me a favor and share it to your pages as well. My name is Mojisola Wilson. The name of the show again is Authentic Conversations, where we try to have authentic transformations. I'm a certified life coach and an inclusion and diversity specialist. I'm also a full-time real estate broker, which is what I love to do. Anyways, while I'm waiting for you guys to come in and call your friends in and all of that, let me run the promo. So good morning and welcome again. This is Mojisola Wilson and thank you all for being here. Just so you know, this is not going to be one of those nice, sweet, mellow conversation. Moji is back and so is Mojikwa. So get ready. I've been quiet for a while because I had to decide if I wanted to continue to do this show my way or to pander to people. And the less I speak, the less I wanted to speak. Because these days you can't really speak the truth anymore, right? Because, everybody's so sensitive, you can't speak your truth. I can't even talk about my life and have people accept it just as me. Yet people are beating us over the head to understand who they are, what they are, to address them the way they want to be addressed, to create spaces for them while they continuously erode other people's spaces. So I had to do a lot of soul searching, and I realized that, look, my voice is not for sale. I don't make money off of what I do, so I need to continue to speak my truth because, honestly, thank God for truth speakers. That's how I came out of my dark space. So for the past few weeks, hey, Johnny, good morning. For the past few days, a person has been trending because she said she's consciously child-free. And Black people are dragging her, not white people though, because white people, I tell you, they don't seem to have a lot of problems these days. But a lot of Africans, a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Black people in general are dragging this beautiful human being that knows who she is, accepts herself 110%, right? And they're dragging her because she chose not to have children, honey. Let me tell you something. This is not a secret. If you've been on this page for a while, you know that I've been talking about parenting, child raising, because we were all lied to that if you are a woman, you must have a child. Okay, you're probably thinking, who lied to you? Everybody, society did, especially in the Black community. If you cannot have a child in Nigeria, which is the country I'm from, you're not even considered a woman. They tell you you're less than a woman. They tell you you cannot be anything, no matter how much you've accomplished in your life. They always ask you, by the time you hit 20, they're asking you, when are you having a child? When are you giving birth? When are you getting married? Hilode, I've been asking God, really. I have these amazing conversations with God. And I say to God, look, what do we do with women that cannot have children biologically, right? What do we do with people that don't want children? Because there's certain times in our lives that we need to start to think. And I'm talking to you young people. Don't buy into this fallacy that you must have children. Let me tell you, I'm going to be 58 in a couple of months. My body was jacked up by having children. My 30 years plus of my life, I dedicated to my children. Moji is not supposed to count. Their feelings are supposed to be more important. And in 2022, We can't even raise our children. We cannot train our children. Society continuously tells them what to do. So we no longer have power. And I'll go back. I'm not saying everybody shouldn't have children. Of course, we need people that want children to have children. But if you don't want children, honey, please, by God, for God's sake, do not have children. A young lady called Dominic Baker or Barker is on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. And she has been trolled. She's been abused. She's been called all kinds of names because she said she's consciously child free. I have a lot of friends that I have spoken to in the past 3 years because of the stuff I was going through. And they also said, if I had known what this entailed, if I had known how much I have to give up, I would never have had children. A lot of them said I never even wanted children, but my family kept pressuring me. When are you going to have a child? So I went, my husband, once I got married, honey, let's break this thing down. Please, let's break it down. Do you know there's a lot of men that don't want children either? Yes. A lot of men do not want children either. But guess what? Nobody bothers to ask a man if he wants a child. How many of you guys, sorry, my necklace is falling, so you're going to have to bear with me for 1 second. How many of you guys actually, when you met your partner, I mean, I'm a lesbian, so we had to have that conversation because, you know, there's no other way to have a child unless we buy the sperm or, you know, or go to the shop and buy the sperm. So my wife and I had to have that conversation before we got married. But how many of you guys that are heterosexuals, living in a heteronormative world, ever had that conversation with your partner, with your husband, your boyfriend, your sugar daddy, or whatever? How many of you ever asked that person, do you want a child? Did you ever ask that man, does he want a child? A lot of men don't want children either. They're marrying you, and some do. I'm not saying some don't. But when in 2022, people are getting married, not just for procreation purposes. You are not a baby making machine. If you look, let me tell you my experience. My father had when I left home, my father had about 18 or 15 or something children. And I ran around the place saying, oh, I could be a better parent. I'm going to have children. I wanted 2 girls. And I had my 2 girls on my own. Yes, I did. Before it became trendy. I've always been that way. Way ahead of my time. Before it became trendy, I had my 2 girls on my own. I only wanted 2 girls. God gave me 2 girls. But no, when I got older and people were asking me, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? So I got married. I had tied my tubes. I opened it up again. I was almost 40, pregnant. I'm 58. My youngest son is 18. I'm still parenting. By now, at my age, I should have been done. I should be cruising the world, which I am. I'm living my own life now. And all of a sudden, I'm public enemy number 1 because people see me as selfish. They see me as this. They see me as that. There's no reason anyone that does not want to have a child should feel bad. Actually, I'm jealous of people that don't have children. I have wrinkles. I aged in 5 years raising 2 kids. Aged, wrinkles, body all over the place, gained 30 pounds from the stress they gave me. And I'm not saying that it's not worth having children to some people. Some of you guys should have children because you want to. You're willing to sacrifice your life. You're willing to give everything to the child. Nah. If I knew what I knew now, I probably would only have 1, maybe adopt. First of all, you get pregnant. You're sick for the first 3 months. Second of all, you are considered handicapped when you're pregnant. People treat you like you don't have common sense, like you can't even do anything for yourself. Oh, don't do this, don't do that. And God forbid you're older and you go and pop out a child, you are considered high risk like I was. I was on bed rest for 6 months. I literally was running 3 businesses on top of that bed. And at the end of the day, the child doesn't even appreciate it because, like they always say, I didn't ask you to bring me into the world. Consciously child-free people are the smartest people in the world to me because they got to understand themselves. They got to self-actualize. There's a lot of things that you want to do. You cannot do it as a mother. Everybody should not be having children. I repeat. And you can drag me for that. I don't care. From now, I'm speaking my truth. Everybody should not be having children. First of all, when we're trying to drive a car, the first thing we do, we take classes, right? They give you a booklet. You have to read the book. You have to study the book. Then after you study the book, you take an exam. They give you a learner's permit, right? So you now take the learner's permit and you go and take driving classes, right? You take the driving classes and then you take a road test where you really have to sit with an instructor and they test you to see how capable you are to drive. Then you get your driver's license. How come there is no way to, no training for parents? Any jackass can have a kid. Jeffrey Joma can have a kid if he decides to. Anybody can have a kid. Anybody. But yet people are not able in 2022 to say with their full chest, I am consciously child free. A woman that wants to run a business, a man that wants to enjoy his wife, why can they not have children? Why must everybody be the same in the Black community, especially? Black people are so rushing to change the narrative of Black people. Let me tell you something funny. If you really want to change the narrative of Black people, stop asking them to lower the bar. Stop asking for affirmative action. Start working and telling people to bring their best to the table. When we started to lower the bar, everything went kaput. Black people are shouting, oh, we need to have more children. You got to have more children. How about all the babies that are out there with no daddies? How about all the babies that are out there with crackhead mothers? How about all the babies that are out there where their parents are working 10 jobs and just to be able to provide and they're not available for their children? Why must everybody have children? What happened to all the kids that are in foster homes? What happened to all the kids that are in orphanages? You know, Nigerians, you guys, I mean, man, I tell you, you guys always, you make me laugh a lot. All this jumping up and down and lynching, public lynching another human being because they don't believe in what you believe in. Shame on you. That's why your country is so jacked up, because you're so busy buying face instead of speaking the truth. Everybody should not be able to have, should not be forced into having children. Forced into, I know so many women that have given up their identity, given up their passions, giving up self-actualizing because of the fact that they've been told, if you don't have a child, you're not a complete woman. I have met some brilliant people. Oprah could not be Oprah today if she had children. There's no way. You notice she waited and then adopted some kids from South Africa? That's the way to do it, honey. I look around me at the happiest people. I repeat, I look around me at the happiest people in the world. They have no children. Me, Moji, my eyes have seen Pepe. I'm telling you, I have been through the ringer with children, with my children, and I raised 11 children. I was a stepchild at one point, and I was a parent and a stepmother. I have seen hell. And look, when you start thinking of babies, you're thinking about these little cutesy things in your hands, right? You're thinking about these doll-like things, right? You're thinking about these babies that just cry and poo and eat and poo. Forgetting that once they hit 5, they have a mind of their own. And because they have a mind of their own, and according to the United States of America, they have rights. So if you want your child, if you're trying to train your child to be a decent human being, and society ties your hand behind your back, you're jacked up. Or maybe you're just broken yourself. A lot of us are broken. We come from dysfunctional families. We come from homes that were not loving and kind to us. We didn't even discover ourselves until much later. We have no business having children. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm not saying they don't have a right. I'm saying we have no business of having children until we fix ourselves. A lot of mothers and fathers are broken, yet you're making babies like rabbits. I met a guy yesterday online because I was making a comment. The guy has 11 children, 5 baby mamas. Ask me what he does for a living. He makes $45,000 a year. 45,000, and you women are spreading your legs and having babies with somebody like that, honey, and yet you're upset with somebody that doesn't want to have children. That one man has made up for the woman, Dominic Barker, that chose not to have children for whatever reason she chose. When you know yourself, when you know what you're capable of, when you know your emotional capacity, when you know how you want to live your life, you will not bring a child into the world to suffer emotionally, financially, mentally, or any other kind of leave. If you want children, have them. Nobody's stopping you. But don't you dare. I don't think people should have the audacity to troll somebody for not having children. If she decided she didn't want a dog, you wouldn't troll her. I, Moji, have a dog with my wife. We have a dog, we have lambs, and we have a cow. Those animals are our responsibility till we die or they die. When you think about the kind of work and dedication it takes to raise normal human beings, we would not be forcing people to have children. I know of people, I've read, I don't know them personally, I've read of women that physically abuse their children because they hate their guts. I've read of women that don't like their children because they feel that children have handicapped them. I've read of women, I know women who I helped to raise their children myself because they did not want children. Let me tell you something. There is no law that says that you must have children if you're a woman. There is no law that says that if you cannot have children or choose not to have children, you're no longer a cis woman. I have to now add the cis word because, that's the world we live in. As a cis woman myself that has 4 children, I know how much money it costs to raise children. It costs financially, it costs emotionally, it costs time. See, that financial piece, you can make money, you can lose money. That's not a big deal. But I tell you, the emotional piece is the worst piece. The way children speak to their parents these days, I would rather not have a child. I'm not lying. I have a friend whose child is in jail for killing somebody. I'm sitting there going, the first time I heard the story, I was like, oh my God. And this is a woman that gave up everything for this child. Everything. In New York. Everything. And part of the problem is that because we don't have the tools, we don't have the understanding, we don't have the truth, everybody's thinking, oh, the joy of raising children, the joy of raising children. Yes, there's some joy, but it's a much more painful. It's painful financially, it's painful emotionally, it's painful any which way. Sleepless nights. One of my sons had asthma. I was up all night and I still had to run my businesses. All night. Can you imagine? And I wanted children. I don't know what I was thinking about the second time around, but the first time around, I really wanted children. And I did everything I could possibly do. I made sure they didn't have a bad life. I made sure they lived in a comfortable neighborhood. I made sure they did not live in the ghetto. And guess what? I am still always going to be the bad parent to them. Because once you start having boundaries, all of a sudden, people, because you guys keep calling them children, that's part of the problem. I call my biological children, I call them people. See, the people I brought into the world, when you start thinking people, you start putting up boundaries. When you start thinking children, you start thinking of them as people that are handicapped. Everybody should not have a child if they don't want to. That's why we have so many children in orphanages. We have children in foster parenting homes that are suffering. We have children on the streets, and yet people are upset because people can't have children. You don't want to have children. Are you kidding? If you don't want to have a child, don't do it. You don't owe anybody anything. And to all the young ladies out there that can hear my voice, you have to take control of your life and decide for you what works for you. You must marry a partner that wants to go in the same direction that you want to go into. Part of the problem is that lately people are marrying for the wrong reasons. Yeah, I'm guilty. I did that too in the past. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that it's all hunky-dory. I did that in the past. Until I met my wife, I didn't even know what love was like. I had no idea what falling in love was like. I had read a lot of Booms and Mills and Booms, those romantic novels where the night comes and it swoops you up and it goes away. Thing was, I was a lesbian. Doesn't work that way. When you have low self-esteem, you're going to allow people to dump crap on you, and you'll take it with a smile because you don't think you deserve better. In 2022, women should be allowed to say, I don't want any child. I don't want any children. They should be with your full chest, honey. Don't let people force you into a life sentence, because having a child is a life sentence that everybody does not want, nor does everybody deserve it. And there's this stupid notion Stupid notion. And I bought into that because I'm African. There's this stupid notion that this rhetoric that we've been told as children, oh, you must, when I'm taking care of you now, brainwashing, I'm taking care of you now. And when I get older, you know, you're going to take care of me. By the time I was like 35, my daughters in America, because they're American kids, were telling me, look, mommy, I'm going to put you in a nursing home when you're older. I'm going to sell your home and I'm going to put you in a nursing home. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, a nursing home? And then one of them said, I'm going to put you in a mental nursing home. I was tired. That thing hurt me to the core. And these are people, notice I don't use the word children anymore for my biological kids. I call them people. My oldest is 31, doing her life, doing her thing. My other one is 28. I remember one year, I was going through so much that year. And money was tight. The real estate market had broken up. The whole economy was really jacked up. This was like between 2008 and 2011-ish. And I went to my daughter, who was working at that point, living in the house for free. Everything is free, electric, gas, everything. And I asked her to give me a couple of dollars so I could pay the rent. And she goes, I have money for my bills, but I don't have money to loan you. We're living in the same house. We are living in the same house. And this thing where people always blame the parents, right? Where people always say it's your fault that your child turned out this way. Honey, they have their own commons. They have full autonomy of themselves. They have their own brains. They have their own choices. And God forbid you live in a first world country. There's so much that the government takes away from you as a parent that you're now at the mercy of the child. In Nigeria, they train children. In America, they raise them like they're plants. They don't give them instructions. They don't give them boundaries. We're no longer allowed to give people boundaries. We can't even tell our children, no, because then you're traumatizing them. Trauma has been so commercialized these days. It's crazy. But yet, people don't see the trauma that a woman goes through when she has a child that she does not want to have. Why would we want to saddle a parent, a mother down? If somebody says, I don't want to have children, shuku to them. Oh, I'd rather you not have children than have children that you're going to hate, have children that you're going to be miserable around, have children that you're going to beat, have children that you're just not going to give any emotional whatever to, because it's like some people don't like dogs, right? I don't get upset when people say, oh, I don't want a dog. And my dog is like my dog is, to me, is closer than a lot of my kids. I'm sorry. Ayomide is one of my children. Love, unconditional love. Children come with price. They come with a price tag, financial, emotional, physical, and time. Time is the most valuable thing we have in the world. Imagine if you want to be, I don't know, let's take Oprah. You want to be Oprah. You cannot. How can you be Oprah with 4 or 5 kids that you have to drag around the world with you? It's not going to work. There's a lot. That's why a lot of successful people don't have children, because they have to choose what's more important to them. And then you have people that are not even doing anything. You have housewives that just don't want kids. You have single women that don't want kids. And then you have the flip side, those that do. This is 2022 and we're getting all upset. We're trolling a human being that made decisions for her life because a lot of you guys are jealous. Most people that troll, I've been studying the phenomenon of trolling people. Most people that troll people are people that are jealous of the lives that others are living, that they do not have the courage, I repeat, that they do not have the courage to live. Yes, I said so. And by the way, if you're on my private page, I cannot read your comments because, you're my private page. You have to come to the public page to be able to make comments that we all can see and debate. And Didi, oh my God, I am so grateful that you are actually here, honey. What my eyes have seen, what I have seen with children, and people want to have the audacity to tell people, oh, somebody that doesn't want children, oh no, you should have children. You must have children. You cannot be a cis woman unless you have children. Why? Why? Why is it so damn important that we all have children? There are men out there that are, I mean, mothers. I saw when I always go do research when I'm doing my shows, right? I went online and I saw a woman that has 12 children. I saw another one with 13 children. And then I saw one man that had about 110 children. Why is it okay for some people to have that many children? And it's not okay for a woman that says, I don't want any children. And you guys go after her and troll her. That is unacceptable. That is so unacceptable. If you hate your life, it's not my fault or her fault that you hate your life. It's your fault for not making the changes that you need to make in your life. Everybody's shouting, oh, my child is my life. I've been saying it for over 5 years or 7 years. My children are not my life. Because what happens is when your children are your life and your children leave, now you're lost. You have no idea who you are because you never self-actualized. You never developed yourself. And then you become one of those evil mother-in-laws that are in their children's business 24/7, that are telling their children, your children's wives or your son's wives, not to do this, not to do that. Oh, you start running your child's home when you should be running your home. A lot of you guys are pink cushions. You're having children. You have children because the man wants a child. You don't take care of yourself. You don't build yourself. You don't even get to know yourself. So when you meet somebody that's traveling the world and having fun and going to Paris for dinner and coming back the next day, you're hating. You're drinking haterade. And haterade is not a good drink because half the time you don't even know the flavor. You don't know why you hate that person. All of you need to go and sit down. All of you that were hating on that woman, Dominic Baca, you need to go and sit somewhere and really ask yourself, what is the problem? Why am I upset with this woman that chose not to have children? And she's 40 years old. She looks amazing. She has an amazing body. Everything is where it's supposed to be. I had 4 kids. Everything has gone south. And the stress they give you, would I do it again? I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't think, I really believe in my heart of hearts that if I come back into this world, I will adopt children. I will no longer give birth. That's if I remember. Because my truth is that I don't see the value in popping out babies. I really don't. I love children. I've raised a lot of children that are not even mine. But personally, for me, my body, my mental state, my mental agility, I fell into a depression for 4 or 5 years. I mean, you see where these kids are going and you're trying to tell them you can't. Oh, God, you better slow down. But you become the enemy. You become the bad person. And then a few years later, exactly what you said would happen happens, and it's your fault. Shuku to all of you out there that know what you want from life. Do not allow people to derail the course of your life. I repeat, do not allow society to tell you who you are. Authentic transformations is all about becoming the best authentic self, the best authentic you that you can be. And sometimes that authentic you is not about fitting into what society calls normal. Sometimes that authentic you, for you to become the best you that God has created, that Allah has created, that Buddha has created, you must stand still and understand who you are. I'm not saying people that want children shouldn't do. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying people that want children should not have children. But I'm saying that people should be allowed and given the grace to be who they want to be, to choose what they want to choose in life. We're at the point in 2022 where we're trolling people for using the wrong pronouns. I do it all day. When they call my wife he, I get upset. If I want you to respect me as a human being, if I want you to respect Moji, I have to respect your choices. Problem is, a lot of these Christian people really upset me, right? They're always quoting the Bible, the Bible this, and if you don't procreate, and a woman's job on earth, honey, that was 1952. We know better now. They don't allow people to brainwash you, you know. They're always quoting the Bible, this, and Jesus said, and God said, hon, please stop. Stop already. Jesus Christ did not have a wife. He didn't have a girlfriend. He didn't have a boyfriend. He didn't have children. And he still went to heaven. What God requires us is to love others as we love ourselves. If I love myself so much and I don't want any children, honey, I'm not doing it. You shouldn't be doing it. Do not have children if you don't want to. Do not allow somebody to tell you who you are. Do not allow anyone to derail the course of your life. I am 58. My youngest son is 19. This is the time in my life where I should be living la viva loca, flying across the globe. If I tell you how much money I spend or I spent on one child in 1 year, how much my wife and I actually, because my wife is not the biological parent. And a lot of you are not even thinking, oh, let's go down this angle small. You're 22, they're telling you, oh, have a child. Oh, just have a child. You don't remember that one day you'll meet somebody. You'll meet somebody that you'll fall madly in love with. But in the meantime, you've had a child for a jackraddle human being that you don't even like. God forbid you're a lesbian. And then you come out of the closet and you're dragging all these kids around. It's 2022. You can have kids with your lesbian partner. You can have kids with your husband whenever you choose to. You know, a lot of people are still trying. You're 50. You don't have children. You're still trying to have children at 50. Because by hook or hellfire, you must have a child. You could have adopted a child. You see, there's a lot of children now these days with Down syndrome, and a lot of them are autistic. We don't even know why. But if you look at the children that come out autistic, it's usually children of women that are older. So you're married to your partner who loves you, who wants you, but you're obsessed with having a child. The guy didn't marry you to have a child. The guy married you because he wanted to build a life with you. How many of you, I repeat, have sat down and asked your partners? How many of you have sat down and asked your husband, your lover, your baby daddy, your whatever, before you got pregnant, did you have that conversation? Would you like to have a child? By the way, the guy might want to have a child, but he might not want to have a child with you. So a lot of you are trapping men into having children so you can have bank cards. Cha-ching, cha-ching, every month, right? And then you have people that are saying, women that are saying, I don't want any children. I would rather be alive. And people's experiences, the trauma they've been through as a child, teaches them if they want a child or not. Because all we ever hear is the joy of having children. The pain starts from the day you are pregnant and you start throwing up. And then you have to, your body starts to go out of shape. I loved being pregnant. I'm one of those people. I enjoyed carrying an alien in my stomach. I loved it. But it's not for everybody. Honestly, it's not for everybody. Today, I'm walking around with a diverification, which means that the muscles in my stomach have separated. No matter how much exercise I do, the stomach is still big. I'm okay with it. But there's some people that don't want that. And it's not about vanity. It's about what's up here. Some people just don't understand the concept of having children. Some people don't want any children, don't want the responsibility of raising children. And it should be okay. And there's no reason why you must pop a child out. If you want a child, you can go to get an adoption. There's options. If you don't want to carry a child yourself, you can adopt, you can foster, you can borrow your friend's child and return them. I wish I could do that. I wish I had known all that. Seriously, because everybody is not meant to have a child. If God wanted everybody to have a child, he would have made everybody want to have a child. But we have full autonomy over ourselves. We're in the era where we're telling people, be yourself, be who you want to be, as long as you do it this way or you do it that way. It makes no sense. The world has gone bonkers today. Bonkers. Paul didn't have a child in the Bible. A lot of these people did not have children. They were not even married. You know, they were not even married. Jesus Christ was not married. He didn't have any kids. But the black race must be populated. So every woman must have a child if she wants to, does not want to, if she can or cannot. I feel twice as bad for the women that are not able to give birth to children because society makes them feel really bad. Society looks upon them, especially in African societies, they're looked at as broken vessels. They're looked upon as, you know, witches. They're looked upon as not valuable. Are you kidding me? And you know, if my value has to be tied to my womb, I'm sorry, you are a bad person. I repeat, if my value as a woman, a cis a cis woman, lesbian woman, is attached to my womb and not the value that I bring to the world, you are the one with the problem. Honestly, you are the one with the problem. Because if you think everybody should believe what you believe or everybody should do what you do, you are the one that needs to work on yourself. Not Dominic Barker that says, I don't want any kids and I'm willing to not have any kids. And I don't care what society says about me, which is the way everybody should live their lives. But I understand now. It's like when I see people that are hanging out and they have amazing bodies and I get jealous. Yes, I do get jealous. I get jealous of women my age that have flat tummies and they have no cellulite and they hardly have wrinkles. I'm sorry, I do. So I totally understand why a lot of you are jealous. Because you would rather have a life. Imagine the amount of money. We paid tuition for a college kid last year. A college kid last year, our son, that I gave birth to. Kid goes to school, doesn't go to class for a whole month. Right? I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Actually, that's a lie. I ate times 10. I gained about 20 pounds. And now I've finally lost some of that weight. But it's this life of raising children, this life of sleepless nights, it's over glamorized. If you think your child is going to take care of you when you're older, not all of them. Most children do not take care of their parents in 20. They might give you money, which if you're a smart person, you have made your own money and you have created a will. When people talk to me about generational wealth, I'm like, I don't believe in it. And Black people always come at me because I say I don't believe in generational wealth. I believe in getting your children the best education, training them, paying for their masters if you want to, guiding them, making them earn their way in life. Because what I've seen happen when people leave money behind, a lot of money, a lot of times the money is just, it's wasted. By the time, it's supposed to be generational wealth. By the time you leave your money to some kid that is not educated, is not properly trained, does not have the right mental mind, right mindset, they would have eaten Versace and Armani and Louis Vuitton and driven a fancy car, living La Viva Loca, not making a contribution into the world. But for those of us whose parents had money, my father told me from day one, all I owe you is your education. I'm leaving nothing to you. Guess what? He did just that. And because I always knew that my dad was leaving nothing but my education, I did what I had to do and became successful. He took me to work with him. I went everywhere with my dad. I had to go to the farm in the village before we could go on vacation. That's the life I lived. So I didn't live a privileged life. And then you look around and a lot of us, because we had discipline, instead of us passing that discipline on, we try to make life too easy for our children. They don't make it. If somebody says, I'm not willing to give up myself, sacrifice myself, sacrifice my mental state, sacrifice my emotional bank for another person, because your child is a person, there's no reason why you're trolling them. So to the young people out there, both male and women, especially women, you cannot be forced to have a child. You have a right to say, no, I'm not having a child. I don't want a child, because you don't want it. If you want it, have as many as you can afford. And I always throw in that have as many as you can afford. And I mean afford. When I talk afford, people think I'm talking money. Money is the easiest part of life because you can make it. I'm talking about the afford as in time, emotions. Are you yourself? Are you healed? Are you together? Are you whole? Or are you a broken vessel that now wants to go and raise another human being? You are broken, you're going to raise another human being that's broken. You are just going to create a broken vessel. I know it. You either overcompensate, you feel guilty for making choices for your life, and they hate you for that. You got to think well. See, a lot of lesbians are not going to like this. You know, in the olden days, if you're a lesbian or a gay man, you knew you're not having a child, right? A lot of us that wanted children, or a lot of us that thought we had to live life the way society, the heteronormative way, we went that route. Moji, I have paid dearly for that choice that I made. I'm not calling it a mistake. I'm calling it a choice that I made. The choice to have children. It's a choice. It's not a mandatory thing. It's a choice. And when you make that choice, please understand that this choice is a lifelong jail term, because that child will be connected to you by the umbilical cord for life. Even if you're not talking to the child, if the child is not talking to you, if the child is abusing you, the world will tell you, oh, the way my son treated me in this house. I'm telling you, if that was another human being, I would have had him arrested. I would have had him, name it, I would have cut him off 1,000%. But society will continuously tell you, oh, that's your child. No, that's a human being. And you are just as important as that human being that you brought into the world. Do not allow society to tell you that you are less, because you allowed yourself to be an incubator for a life that should be grateful that you brought them here. But no. We, biological mothers, we are the sacrificial lamb for men, children, our parents, everybody. We are always at the bottom of the totem pole. My sisters, my daughters, my friends, my nieces. I am asking you, I am begging you, before you have a child, think it through. Don't say, because I've been married 2 years, I must have a child. No, honey. You need to get to know your husband. You need to get to know your partner. You need to get to know his family. You need to get to know whoever it is. If you're a woman and you're a lesbian like me, you need to get to know your wife. Build a relationship with your partner before you go out and have children, because once children come in, they take everything over. The child now becomes number one. Everything in my life for 30 years revolved around my children. And I'm not regretting it, because I can't go back. But I can share my stories with you so that you guys understand that it's okay to make a choice that works for you and whoever you want to have that child with. And if you're a single person that wants to have a child by yourself, everything comes with a price. I've done that too. I was a single parent for most of my adult life, by choice, in most cases. It's hard. All this fantasy island, I can do it by myself. I can do it. Look, why do you think the black race is the way it is? 70% of black homes are being raised by single mothers. Go to Nigeria, it's the same way. They have a husband in the house who doesn't even participate, who doesn't exist. But they're all okay with saying, oh, I'm Mrs. John Doe. If you are going to have that child by yourself as a single woman, know that you will sacrifice a lot. All those fancy parties you want to go to, even with a housemaid or a housekeeper, a nanny, a babysitter, whatever part of the world you live in, you are still responsible for those children. So you need to know that your life will change once you have that child. Everybody that's clapping and applauding you, once you pop that child out, after the naming ceremony, they go to their house and you're on your own. When that child is colicky in the middle of the night and cries all night and you cannot sleep, and now when it's time to go to work, you cannot show up because you didn't sleep last night. It's on you. There's a price we pay for everything. There's a price I paid just to sit here and talk to you. We all pay a price for everything we have. If you know in your heart of hearts you do not want children, don't have them. Don't. It's a very, very expensive choice to do. I'm meeting more and more brave young women that are saying, Auntie Moji, I don't want children. Actually, one of them that I met about 7 years ago that said she didn't want to have biological children, just adopted a child I think about 3 months ago. So I'm a godparent. I love it. I love I wish we all could have this wisdom without experiencing all the pain. But sometimes people don't want to listen because, you know, they think it's just you. If you put 10 mothers together, out of 10 biological mothers, I'm talking not people that are adopted, or that their own wahala is a different one. But for those of us that damaged our bodies, damaged our wombs, who have pot bellies, we look like we're 3, 4, 5, 6 months pregnant. We have stories to share with you. And if anybody wants to hear some of those stories that I'm not even ready to put out there, I'm writing a book on parenting. I hope to God that you guys read this book. It's a manual for parenting. Because all this cuddling we're doing, all this, they're killing our black boys. This is why black men are all over the place and they can't get it together. A lot of them are. Because we never allow them to grow. But that's not the topic of the day. The topic is you have a choice. It's your body, it's your being, it's your mental space, and it's definitely your finances that you will need to raise or help raise these children. Now, how do we stop getting ourselves in trouble? When you become serious with a partner, I don't care if it's a heterosexual relationship or a homosexual or same gender. I hate that word, homosexual, because everybody's made everything about sex. Same gender loving is my new language. That's what I love. If you're in a same gender loving relationship, you must have these conversations with your partner before you get married, before you become boyfriend, you take it to the next level, before you move in. You must negotiate and compromise. You must talk to the man. Oga, I want children. Do you want children? Oh, how many kids do you want? How are you planning on raising them? How do we raise them? Life is about negotiations and negotiating and compromising. A lot of times we don't do that. And we don't do that because we don't have the courage to walk in truth, to speak in truth, and to be truth. When you start walking with integrity, authenticity, hey, child, the world becomes very lonely. People look at you like you have 4 heads. People ask you, they truly, really don't. Very few people are able to digest the authentic you. Very few people are able to digest the authentic you. Let me tell you, life is about understanding, and it took me a long time to learn this. The journey to self was not easy. But life is about being authentic, knowing who you are, becoming the best version of yourself. Self-actualize, people. Self-actualize, ladies, because that's what will make you happy. But everything comes with a price. See that rhetoric of in the 90s where they used to say you can have it all, you can do it all? I lie. Look at the likes of Oprah. Look at the likes of a lot of people. Ellen DeGeneres, a lot of people that are flying high. They cannot have children they're dragging all over the place. And some people do, but the children suffer. So if you know you don't want any children, please don't have them. Don't allow society to tell you who you are and what you should be doing or not doing. It's your body. You have full autonomy over your body. And if I may just say so, it takes courage to say, no, I'm not having a child because I do not want a child. I do not have the yearning to have a child. I do not want a child. And it's okay to change your mind later. And if you change your mind and you're 50 years old, just go and adopt one. Why put yourself through all that for no reason? Why? Trust me, it's better to live in your authenticity, to live in your truth, than to live a miserable life that will probably end up bleeding into the lives of everybody around you. Because when the head is not well, then the rest of the body doesn't work well. For a long time, I sacrificed myself for my children. I sacrificed myself for a long time for my children. And once I started to live in my authentic skin, one son walked away. Full disclosure. One daughter is amazing, doing very well. One daughter is lukewarm. And another son is just who he is. And I felt guilty for a long time because, society will tell you it's your fault as a mother, it's your fault as a parent. I gave them everything I could. It was up to them to take it and run. So when you decide to have a child, know for a fact that you're just the incubator. You're just there. You're carrying that child. Your job is to bring that child into the world and equip them with the tools to go out there and become responsible adults. You cannot make anybody do anything. You cannot make your child do anything, especially in 2022. Will it work? Will it work like it does not, it doesn't work. Because society, the internet, everything will tell them who they are, tell them what they should be, and you will always be the bad person. But to some people, it's worth it. If all the headache, all the pain, all the sadness, all the abuse, emotional, financial, is not worth it to you. And I'm not saying some people don't have an amazing experience. I'm saying a lot of us, even the ones that lie and say they have an amazing experience, everybody talks about the teenage years. If you know you're not mentally, emotionally, financially capable of having children, please don't. Even if it's just the mere fact that you don't desire to have children. In the name of God, do not. My name is Mojisola Wilson. I am grateful that you joined me today. Do me a favor and follow the page, my public page, like the video and share it so that we can continue to transform lives, so that we can continue to educate people, so that we can continue to free people from the bondage that society has put on a lot of us. My name is Mojisola Wilson. The show is Authentic Conversations where we try to have authentic transformations. I hope to see you next time. I will be back next week sometime. I'll post it way ahead. If there's any topics, by the way, you would like me to talk about, please let me know. For now, I'm just going to pick topics that are trending in the world or anything that would you want to talk about. May our today be better than may our tomorrow be better than our today. May our today be filled with blessings and grace. Namaste.